Hello and welcome back to the Portsmouth Comic Con podcast. I am your host, Luke Bugg, the Geek of Steel, a proud geek, blogger, and Portsmouthian. Ever since this event was announced way back in 2018, I was excited. Finally, a Comic Con in Portsmouth. There was literally no commute for me. I love Comic Cons. I travel up and down the country to attend. Earlier this year, I attended San Diego Comic Con for the first time, and that was an amazing adventure. But for me, this con that has evolved over the years is the perfect weekend for me. As a fan of so many different fandoms, seeing people of all ages come together to experience what positive passion is a beautiful experience. And those that have been to Portsmouth Comic Con and those that are returning know how special this event is. And over the upcoming months, I'll be talking with more people that are working behind the scenes and will be attending next year's con on the 3rd and 4th of May. This event, this weekend means so much to me, and I love everything about it, including helping to promote and produce this podcast. So, this first episode, I'm very lucky to be able to speak with some of the heroes that work behind the scenes to make this event work. So, please join me. We're back. This is episode 1 of the Portsmouth Comic Con podcast. This is the first interview on this episode, recapping this year's Comic Con and talking about next year's Portsmouth Comic Con. I'm joined with Nick and Kurt. Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hello. Now, we've spoken in the past. We know that you are the heroes behind the scenes, the Ant and Dec, the Batman and Robin. You can choose which one you want to be. We won't have any arguments. But over the years, we've been talking and helping promote this event, and I've seen this event evolve over the years. What hasn't changed over that time is your guys' passion and just love for this event, and it's great to see it, whether it be at meetings, over emails, or in Zooms, or live in person. Your passion for this event is truly, to use the pun, heroic, but it is. This event means so much to me and so many others, and you two guys are part of the reason why. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for your consistent work you've done over the years. And what does Portsmouth Comic Con mean to both of you?
This time of year, it's a complete headache because we're obviously planning for next year. No, leading up to it, we've got different passions. I am a geek. I will admit that. I don't think Kirk's as much as a geek as I am. So I love everything to do with this sort of culture. So for me, it's exciting, to be talking to so many different people about so many things that I love, be it Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever, Jurassic Park, Ghostbusters, all that we had this year. It's just a fun job to do. When you wake up in the morning and you actually want to come to work, it's got to be something good, isn't it? And that's definitely what doing Portsmouth Comic Con is all about.
I love that. Getting up and enjoying your work. That's something, that we do have to find, whether it's the day-to-day job or a second part-time hobby, which is what a lot of Comic-Con fans and people that attend them, it's not always their full-time job. So the passions that you two guys show towards this event, it really means a lot. And because for many people, when this event first started, a lot of people from Portsmouth weren't really too sure what a Comic-Con was or could be. So, Kurt, how did you take that challenge on when you were sort of starting up back in 2018?
Well, I think, as Nick said, kind of he's the bigger geek of the two of us. But likewise, Nick actually also hadn't been to a Comic-Con. I hadn't been to a Comic-Con, but actually, I think that managed to help us reinvent maybe what a Comic-Con in Portsmouth should be. There's some great Comic-Cons out there. There's some other okay Comic-Cons out there, and we thought, well, let's be different to all of them. So we went out there, we started making friends with the Joker Squad, we made friends with local businesses such as Dice, Game Over. Each year we've made more and more contact, kind of contacts, and just really built the Comic-Con year on year to bring in that new content, to bring in sort of new things to see and do. I'm not sure. Nick said before we came on the call, don't mention this, but there is something this year which is going to be not seen at Portsmouth Comic Con before, and actually not seen at many Comic Cons that I've got, to be honest. We'll tell you after the call. I think we might have told you when we met
what a
recently.
tease for episode 1, though. I like that. We can get back to that. That's how you do it. He's had his media training. He knows what he's saying. It's all good. But that's each year, though, what I have loved about coming back is the fact that I can expect to see some things, but I'm going to be surprised by new things. You're not just copy and paste like some other events have been in the past. You like to push the boundaries of what a Comic-Con can be. And it's making it not just about coming in, buying the Funko Pops, queuing up to get an autograph, queuing up to get a photo. It's about making memories and helping people embrace passions that they may have forgotten about over the years. I love seeing that look on sort of family members' faces when they're educating their children about what TV programs, what they used to be like, or this is what I loved when I was growing up. But it's all about people coming together and enjoying those passions. And there's something around every corner at Portsmouth Comic Con that will make somebody smile or enlighten a memory or even a new passion. I've picked up so much over the years coming to cons through board gaming and appreciating different types of art. But Nick, for you, so as you said, you haven't been to cons in the past. Why do you think Portsmouth Comic Con stands out as such a special weekend for you now that you've been working there for a few years?
I think it's because it's family orientated. Every com around the country has its place. We're not a celebrity based com. We do have celebrities, but we don't. We can't afford to bring Hollywood stars over and this sort of stuff. And that's one of the things we try and keep it reasonably affordable as well. We know Portsmouth is not. It's quite a deprived area in some areas, but we want everyone in Portsmouth to enjoy it. So the idea is, if you come along, yes, it's a ticket price, and it's not cheap, but we've got to charge something to be able to put this on. Once you come into the venue, nothing costs. We this year we actually did break our rule. We charged people £1 to have their photograph taken on Harry Potter's flying thing, just because the cost of putting that together. But everything else is free. You can go and buy a figure for 50p from one stall. If you've got the money, you can go and buy a figure for £3,500 if you want to, or you can buy a comic for £100,000.
Yeah,
Everything is there for families, and we try to keep it family based. Whereas a lot of the London ones are, they're fantastic events, but they're really for the die-hard Comic-Con fan and not for families. And that's what makes us different. We are really a family, and it's a safe space. You come to ours, you can feel safe. Nobody is pushing around. We try and keep a lot of space between stalls, a lot of space so people can wander around, places for people to sit down, enjoy the rest of the day. The weather's always been in our favour. I've said something wrong now. I know it's now going to probably.
That's it. It's your fault. It's not on Kurt's shoulders. It's on yours.
It's not on me.
It's on my. It's on my. The weather is always good. We've got a direct line to the above. It will guarantee to be good. People can just sit and enjoy the day and not be funny. You've been there. You've stood on stage with me in front of 3,000 people sat on the steps.
Yes.
While we're trying to do a quiz, which was totally wrong.
That was fun though. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We got to get Kurt involved next year though with that somehow.
And the feedback you get from the people, it's a fantastic thing, and you can just understand that people come to the Common, they come year after year after year because it's that safe space and it's a family orientated event.
I've spoken with sort of people throughout Portsmouth that are coming back, thinking about going. I've been an ambassador for this event since day one, just because of the fact that it's in Portsmouth. We're a big city. We've got a lot of cultural history when it comes to entertainment and music and film. We needed an event like Comic Con, and I'm so proud that it's still here after all these years and will continue to be so in the future, because it's such a passionate weekend for me, one that I would always make time for, because it's just a great weekend, and it's not something that's just for 2 days. We've talked about this in the past. We make this Comic-Con a part of the community. It goes on. There are other events. We've got all these fantastic social nights and gatherings that help people not well, if it's their first time coming to a con, you can be nervous. I've been in that situation before. But social nights where I've come down and met makers from the Dream Team, and I've met people from just the Comic Con community, it's made it a very welcoming and inclusive night. And that makes me more excited for the Comic Con, which will be happening on the 3rd and 4th of May next year. Two very big dates in the geek calendar, one being Free Comic Book Day, and of course, Star Wars Day. But we will talk about that in future episodes. But what have been some of your favorite memories from Portsmouth Comic Con over the years?
I mean, I think for me is, I think Nick said at the beginning of the podcast, you know, we wake up each day excited to come to work, but a lot of love, sweat, tears, sleepless nights going to the event. And sometimes you think, have we done enough? Is this event good enough? You know, we're our own kind of worst nightmare. We punish ourselves because every year we want to be bigger and better. And we fear sometimes. But then those gates open, people flood in, and just seeing people in their cosplay, people, families. Some people have never been to a Comic Con themselves before. Maybe they haven't been up to London or kind of other Comic Cons around the country, but they come in and straight away are just immersed in the convention. And that's something really important to us, that you walk in and even before you've even entered the site, you're in that queue and you've got characters running up and down the queue, kind of getting you excited to come in. And for me, it's that when the gates first open and think it was worth it. We've done a good job. And kind of everything over the last sort of 12 months was completely worth it.
Wonderful. And you, Nick, what's been some of your favorite memories over the years?
I've got two. One was about 2 years ago. We do a cosplay parade where everyone gets up and shows their cosplays. We do a junior one, and a little kid got up with a shop ball Asda's Iron Man outfit. You know, his mum and dad had bought him for 10 quid, and he stood on stage doing the pose. And unknown to him, we have a really good friend of ours who does Iron Man. It's a unbelievable outfit. It all lights up, it moves. You've seen him. And he just creeped up behind the kid and did the pose behind the kid, and the kid just turned around and, you know, he thought it was Iron Man as far as he was concerned, and he was stood next to Iron Man. This kid, you could not have seen a smile big enough. His mum was crying. He was, you know, the kid started crying, not because he was upset, just for joy that Iron Man was stood next to him. That's a magic moment. But the other one for me is, as a big Doctor Who fan, as you can see by the scarf hanging behind my head.
Yes, sir.
We've had some of the best Doctor Who guests in the last 2 years. Really friendly, lovely people to talk to. They sign all the autographs. They'll have a chat with you. Sylvester McCoy last year was doing magic tricks, all sorts of things. Paul McGann, you could sit for hours and just talk to him. And, you know, he was only Doctor Who for a very short period, but his stories he talks about and things he's gone on to do. Yeah, for me, Doctor Who's Tom Baker is my doctor for my age. But unfortunately, you know, the man's in his 90s now. I'd love to see him here, but I think we've done Doctor Who for a while. Not saying we won't come back to it, but we've got some other more exciting things for next year.
Oh, he's there as well, Kurt. He's doing the little teasers as well, just a little bit. I like it. I like that style. But that's what I love. When I love talking to you guys, whether it be again over email or when we're down at the Guildhall having a chat, it's the passion that you guys have for making this weekend special for the people that attend. It's the fact that you want it to be exciting for those that are coming back, but also memorable for those that are coming here for the first time. And people are coming down and traveling to visit Portsmouth Comic Con because it's getting such fantastic word of mouth. And, you know, that's down to you. That's down to the marketing team. That's down to, as you said, the blood, sweat, and tears that you both put into this event along with everybody else. So thank you for your hard work. I will leave you soon to crack on with your day and start planning more exciting things for next year. I'm already looking forward to next year's quiz. We're going to have some fun with that. That's always fun on the main stage, doing a little geeky quiz. I've already got some prizes sorted out for that as well.
Excellent.
But without giving anything away, what are you looking forward to next year's event?
It's obviously May the 4th. So we're going to be heavy Star Wars.
Of course.
So there's going to be there'll be some new stuff from Star Wars. We've actually got a meeting today, our first Star Wars meeting of the year.
Wow.
So that's going to be quite exciting today. So we'll have some new ideas. We're expanding the site. We're going to take over the other side. So you'd be a complete circle around the Guildhall. So the Guildhall would be the focus in the middle, and there'd be a site all the way round. So it'd be a bigger site than ever before,
Nice.
and lots of new content.
Love it. I'm already impatient. We're in what? It's October now. I knew I shouldn't have started this podcast so soon because I'm going to get jittery and impatient for this weekend. And Kurt, what are you looking forward to for next year, Seth?
So actually, there's something that Nick and I have wanted for quite a few years now at the convention. The man with the credit card has always said, is there value? Me and Nick, and I think you would agree, there's value to it. Today, just today, he almost said yes. So we've only got a little bit more work to do. And if we get it, it's going to be impressive.
Now it's back to Kurt doing the teasing. This is too much. I can't. If I need to send a bouquet of sweets or flowers to that man with the credit card or person with the credit card, whoever it may be, let me know. But I love, again, little things like this, a little sneak behind that magical Wizard of Oz curtain, as it were, learning more about the scene. So I'm looking forward to more meetings over the upcoming months. I'm looking forward to just seeing you two work together so well and help make some fantastic memories for everybody that comes along to Portsmouth Comic Con. Final question. How would you recommend a Comic Con to somebody that has never been to one before? How would you sell it to them?
If you want an enjoyable day, it doesn't mean you have to be into Marvel, DC. You just want to have a fun day watching other people enjoy themselves, then just come to a Portsmouth Comic Con. It's as simple as that. It's an enjoyable day. You can spend an hour, you can spend 8 hours. It's entirely up to you. No one's pushing you, but just come along, enjoy it. You'll bring back memories. If you're an godly old man like me, you've got memories that will just come flooding back. But if you've just got a young family, you just want the family to come along, and everybody there is friendly. Everybody there is all excited to be there, and it is just a safe space.
Wonderful.
I think on that as well is kind of, Nick's completely right. Luke, you spend 16 hours at the convention over the weekend.
You have
from the moment we enter to the moment we close, plus an hour where we're saying, "Come on, time to go home." There's something to do. There's a whole weekend there, and as Nick says, it's a safe space. Be who you want to be. Express yourself, and just enjoy that with like-minded people who just want to celebrate the weekend. We've had a sprinkling again, but we've had a request for something this year, which we might be the first Comic Con to do it on the Sunday. But this is someone who wants to express kind of themselves. They want to do something really special. And again, it's going to be a really special moment for the convention to be kind of probably, I can't guarantee it's the first, but I'm highly likely to be the first convention that has maybe done this.
Killing me. Absolutely killing me with all these sprinkles of teasers. But again, you know how to keep the excitement going. But I know that the two of you, when you get some information like that or news like that, or even the slightest bit of potential of hope, you get really excited and motivated to make it work. So thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for your time today. And I look forward to co-hosting the quiz, but also doing much more with the both of you in the months to come. So thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is time for another chat with another hero that works behind the scenes and at Portsmouth Comic Con.
Hi everyone, my name's Amy, otherwise known as Princess and the Sea, and I'm a member of Dream Team Portsmouth who works alongside Portsmouth Comic Con to hopefully bring some extra magic to your weekends.
You have brought so much magic over the weekends from as far going back as I can remember. And this event wouldn't be the same if you guys and gals weren't there. It's a fantastic weekend, and cosplay is a huge part of Comic-Con. And you do a great job of not only hosting the cosplay parade, but you've got a stall. You help people get into cosplay and talk and embrace those passions and step out of shy comfort zones in a nice, positive, and helpful way. So thank you for all your help you've done over the years. What have been some of your favorite memories from Portsmouth Comic Con?
Oh my goodness, so many. I think that first time that I went on stage, because my confidence levels were not that great, and that was never something in a million years I ever thought I would be doing. But I stepped out and I did it, and now I love it. And presenting the children's parade specifically for me, and yeah, and just the whole atmosphere of the place, the vibe, everyone's just being lovely to each other. The people that are dressed up, or even if you're just wearing a t-shirt with the logo of your favorite hero or whoever, everyone's just there bearing a little piece of their soul, sharing something they love with us that maybe sometimes gets a little bit more hidden. But yeah, it's all out there in the open, and everyone's just throwing around compliments and love and support and enthusiasm.
And that's it. That's the whole weekend. That is a great way of doing it. It's love and positivity. It's showing off what you care about. What everyone's got a fandom, whether it be a film or a comic or a book or a certain character, and you see that come out of people at Comic Cons. And if it's their first con, they're sometimes a bit more held back. But throughout the day, they're more excited. They're more willing to embrace those things that make them happy. And that's why this weekend, especially throughout the year, I like to keep 3. I'm sure as you do as well. We plan in advance. So yeah, it's on the 3rd and 4th of May next year, which is not only Star Wars Day, but Free Comic Book Day on the Saturday, which is very exciting for me. But yeah, it's a fantastic weekend, and you've always done so much great work with helping create memories. But you got that cosplay parade. That's always a highlight for me. Sitting on those steps, seeing all those fantastic characters come out and introduce who they are, and striking a pose to the screams and cheers of the audience. Now you're there with Dream Team. Tell me a bit more about Dream Team Portsmouth and the great work that you do in and around the con.
So yeah, we are kind of a bunch of people that have been thrown together through various events, working together, and yeah, we're just all really good friends now. So we've all got different fandoms with different ages, and yeah, we love the sort of the community of it, and we like to encourage that and support the wider cosplay community, so especially in Portsmouth. So yeah, we appear at lots of different community events. We try and bring a bit of extra character magic and things to those events. And then with our cosplay community, we try and just get people together. We've got a Facebook group where people can offer support, seek advice, and just sort of feel like you're not necessarily turning to these events alone, or you've got more friends, and just make you that bit more.
It makes it more together. I do love that. It's that lovely word, community. It's involvement. It's inclusivity. It's creating a safe place, not only online but at a con as well. Because sometimes it can be scary going to a con alone. I've done it a few times over the years, but you make friends at these events, and you end up creating a little gang of friends that meet up before, during, and after these events. But talking about other social events, we have the Portsmouth Comic Con social evenings now that I've met you at, and the gang at a few. Tell me a bit more about those, because I'm sure there are more coming up throughout the year.
Yeah, really soon we're going to start those up again. And so basically we all just go to the pub. There's the wonderful Portsmouth Guildhall Village just down the road from the Portsmouth Guildhall. They've been absolutely brilliant at hosting us. So they reserve us a nice generous space down in the pub. And yeah, we just all get together. You come along, excuse me, in your normal clothes, in brackets there. And yeah, we just chat and just meet new people. And it just means that if you are going to Portsmouth Comic Con alone, or maybe a smaller group, that you can arrange to meet people there, or you just know that there's going to be someone there that you're going to bump into. Again, we can share advice if you've got a certain cosplay in mind but you're not sure how to make this specific bit. There will be someone there that does know how to do that, and it can help you or point you in the right direction of good YouTube tutorials and things like that to watch. So yeah, it's just brilliant for that.
I do like that, and it makes me more excited because Portsmouth Comic Con is a fantastic weekend of the year. Don't get me wrong, but I get greedy and it's not enough. So these social events before and after the con, it means there's something else to look forward to and help build that excitement up before the main event happens on the 3rd and 4th. So yeah, it's always going to be fun. But what is it for you, speaking about magic and everything else, what makes Portsmouth Comic Con that little extra bit magical for you?
I think because it is a slightly smaller event than other Comic Cons, and they're brilliant at trying to get in lots of local businesses, industries, people from all over involved in doing that. And I think that's really special. I think it makes it a bit different as well. And yeah, again, it's just community. Portsmouth's very, very good at community. I think there's always something going on here. And so that's where we appear at lots of different community events, just bringing a bit of extra magic and smiles and things like that. And I think that's what Portsmouth Comic Con's really tapped into as well.
Yeah, so it's been around there for a few years. I hope it's here for many, many years to come. And with that, I hope you and the rest of the gang are there as well. So sneak peeks and teasers about what costumes we might see next year. Which heroes from the stage and TV and screen might we see at next year's Comic Con from you and the gang?
Well, obviously next year is Star Wars weekend, May
Yes.
the 4th. So there will definitely be a Star Wars twist. For myself personally, and I know Lucy, there's lots of people already out there that do very brilliant, very detailed and accurate Star Wars costumes. So I think we're going to go for a sort of mash up, something a twist on it.
I like that. That's good.
Apologies.
No, that's good. I like seeing different characters. Okay, mash up together. I like it when I see two different characters from completely different universes joined up for photographs. So that could be very interesting to see. And I like the teasing of it. So that's fantastic as well. Well, thank you for all that you do for Portsmouth Comic Con. Thank you for your time today. Where can people find what you are up to online?
Online on Facebook, we've got our cosplay corner. So if you want to join our little cosplay community, it's called Cosplay Corner by Dream Team Portsmouth. We have a Facebook page and Instagram, which are at Dream Team Portsmouth. So you can find us there, drop us messages, things like that, and reach out to your community if we are there. And myself, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Princess and the Sea.
Superb. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to seeing you at the next social event and looking forward to seeing who you arrive as next year at Portsmouth Comic Con.
Thank you. Me too.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
It's time for another interview on this episode, and I'm speaking with another hero who was at this year's Comic Con. Austin, welcome back to the Portsmouth Comic Con podcast.
Luke, I am so happy to be speaking to you again. I have missed your face, sir.
We've just been saying that before we hit record. We spent a lot of time last year, whether it be with podcasting or at the event, and we're not exactly close to each other. So we have missed each other's faces. And yes,
massively.
You were at the con last year with your magnificent Ecto One, the fantastic Ghostbusters car that made so many people so happy, which is why I wanted you back on this episode 1 of the latest season of the podcast to just talk a little bit about your first experience with the con this year. How was it for you?
It was just phenomenal. I mean, me and the guys, the Ecto One GB guys, have just not stopped talking about it. We just loved it. You know, I've been to my fair share of cons in my time, and you know, I'd heard so many people say so many good things about Portsmouth Comic Con, and I was absolutely pumped. I was stoked to be coming along, but it didn't prepare me for just how good it was. The vibe that was there was just unreal. It was such a friendly atmosphere, loads of really, really amazing people there. So many people putting in the effort that I don't think you get at some of the other cons. To be honest, for me, it was more like, in a funny kind of way, the cons that you see more in the US. It had that kind of vibe to it. It just had just loads of people that just wanted to not outdo themselves, but wanted to go that extra mile to make everything just like a wow moment. Like you'd look over there and it'd be like, oh, wow, that's cool. And then you'd go, oh, that's cool. And it was, you know, people had prepared me for it to just say, you know, this is an amazing con. And I didn't realize how good it was.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that. That's the best way you can put it, because people often ask me, like, I've never been to a Comic-Con before. What can I expect to see? And it varies from con to con. But since this con has been on, the Portsmouth event. There's something new each year, but it still clings on to that magic of that there's so much there to see and do. And
Yep.
yes, you were there with your fantastic Ghostbusters car, but you still had the chance to walk around, to experience everything that this con has to offer. And there's not much space that's empty at this event. It's in such a unique building, being the Portsmouth Guildhall, which looks quite like a New York type building with that Gothic architecture.
Absolutely. Which is why when they said, oh, you park the car, just directly outside it, near those lions, I was like, well, this is fate. I mean, call it fate, call it karma.
And that's it. I was there just in time to see you pull in your car. It was perfect time. And I was there the year before to see the Batmobile turn up. I was there this year to see your Ecto, and just to hear that iconic car turn up, to smell that exhaust, for me, it was a fantastic moment. And I know it was so special for so many other people that got to speak with you all weekend, because I know you were so busy. When you weren't exploring, you were there with the car answering questions. For you, it was pretty much like an 18-hour podcast for you in your car, Austin.
It was funny because I remember one of the things you said to us. You said, make sure you bring lots of water. So on, Mr. Bugg's advice, I took myself off to Tesco's the night before and stocked up on a big pack of, the little bottles of water. I was like, yeah, that's fine. That'll do. So, because, you'll need them because people will want to chat to you about this. And I was like, yeah, okay. Wow. Sure, a few people will. Oh my God. Literally, I didn't stop. I did not stop the whole weekend. The only time I stopped and I had a sit down bit was then I was being asked about the Frozen Empire thing with the Southend-on-Sea guys. But I took that as an absolute bonus because I was sat down having a chin wag about stuff. And it was great. And you were so bang on the money. It was fantastic. And I but God, my voice hurt by the end of it.
But that's what I love about that particular con, is that you can go there with friends, you can go there and make new friends. It's such an involved and inclusive venue that if you're sat down sort of just taking 5 minutes to chill out, you can do that in many places. But I was just having a sit down this year, and ended up having a wonderful chat with Henry VIII and some members from the Mary Rose exhibit. And then I was speaking with cosplayers and people that were making sort of a geeky jewelry. There's a conversation around every corner at a Comic-Con, and I feel that there's so many wonderful moments to make friends at these events as well. And that's what again, one of the many, many things that I love about Portsmouth Comic Con is meeting new people. But yeah, you were there for both days with that exquisite car, taking so many photographs with cosplayers and families, and it was just a magical moment to see. So I know I thanked you before, but thank you again. This is just episode 1 of this new season is me just reminiscing with some of the people that have made the most recent events such a fun time, and it's making me just a little bit itchy for 2025.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, isn't it? Because you and I have been referring to it as last year's, but for some reason, and I don't know why, but it feels like last year's because I'm kind of like I'm thinking about everything that's going to be coming up, and
autumn's round the corner. We're here for Halloween now. There's a few Halloween events at Portsmouth Comic Con. Since Portsmouth Comic Con, I've been to San Diego Comic Con. And it's different worlds. Now, I was chatting with everybody at San Diego about Portsmouth Comic Con. I feel that in this event's, future, it's going to be as big as San Diego Comic Con. I'm not sure if Portsmouth could accommodate like thousands upon thousands of people, but I think
I'm sure it'd be fine.
If we put in the work, we'd be able to make that happen. I'll have a word with Nick and Kurt, some of the heroes behind the scenes, to see how much floor we can get.
They're absolute legends, aren't they? Those guys. I mean, I remember speaking to Kurt at the start, like literally when I'm driving in, and then I think the next time I saw him was when I was driving out.
They don't stop. They don't stop. Yeah, so we've been passing
Legends.
emails over since 2018 when this event was first announced. And yeah, I've been having fun with Nick hosting the quizzes over the years as well, and it's one of those things where you really get to meet everyone that works behind the scenes. So Nick and Kurt have been on this episode. I've been speaking
Mhm.
with members from the Dream Team and people from Express FM. It really does, it takes a village. I've used that expression a
Mm.
lot, but there are so many fantastic people working behind the scenes that make this event work. You
Yeah.
being one of them. So thank
Ah,
you for your work that you have done. Now I've asked this
it's a
question
pleasure.
before um,
Yeah.
to people that to sort of suggest a con to somebody that hasn't ever
Mm.
been to one. Why or how would you say to a new friend why Portsmouth Comic Con is such a special event?
I think because the community that it kind of evokes from everyone, you get a whole bunch of people there from every walk of life, even people from Dorset, and
Beautiful part of the world. Beautiful part of the world.
and what's great is all of a sudden you go in through the gates, and it's not so much a con, it is more of a community sort of gathering. You kind of you feel a part of it. Do you know what I mean?
No,
You get there and you go, I'm involved in all of this. 360, because everyone that you go and talk to will more than happily have a chat with you about this and about that. And it's like it's funny because you were saying about me doing that with the car. On the couple of times that I went off and had a walk around, my lasting memories was that amazing Star Wars exhibit
yeah,
round the back.
fantastic work by the
I mean,
Joker Squad. Yeah.
that blew my mind, honestly. And what was great was everyone who I was having a chat with, um, was so friendly, and they were all quite happy to talk to you about this and that and all the rest. And it was brilliant because it evokes, like I said, that real sense of togetherness. It brings everyone together instead of sometimes. I think some cons can be a little bit businessy orientated, as to, well, we're here to make money, so you go and do your thing, and we'll be making money. It's as almost as far away from that as possible. You have a sense of people doing it because they want to make it the best, and they want you to have the best time.
I love
And
that.
that is what I came away. I know that's what Mark, my companion, sort of came away with, and Simon, who were all part of the Ecto 1GB crew. I mean, we all came away that day, after the first day, went out for a meal, and we were like, wow, that was a heck of a day.
It's
And
so much goes on, so much
yeah,
happens that you kind of forget, oh, there's another day of this tomorrow, we need to get some
yeah,
rest, otherwise we're going to be exhausted. But yeah,
this is it.
and I love that how you mentioned it, sort of you go through those gates, whether it be the Jurassic Park gates they made this year, and it's, to me, it's a community within a theme park. There's
Yeah.
something around every corner for so many different fandoms. If you've been to a con before, it's amazingly fun. If you've not been to one before, it's like you're not sort of a rabbit in the headlights, but you still take it all in, and everybody is so inviting that you're not too scared to ask, what's happening
Yeah.
here? How do you play that game? How do you make your cosplay? It's a very involved experience, and it's always
That's
been
it.
so welcoming. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you had a fantastic time. And I hope you'll be
It
back
was amazing.
maybe next year or in years to come, because I know you were a fantastic guest there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was such a phenomenal experience for me and the rest of the team. Absolutely loved it. So yeah.
Well, here's to many more years to come. I want to sit in that Ecto again one day,
Oh.
and in the future, we do need to sit down and record a podcast in that exquisite car and just talk about passions, buddy.
I think that sounds like a great idea. I think we need to make that happen.
I'm going to get on that. We're going to get on that. Austin, thank you for
Nice.
your time today, sir. Thank you
Mm.
for making the most recent Portsmouth Comic Con a fantastic experience for so many people.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
I am joined with one of the many heroes that work behind the scenes for Portsmouth Comic Con. Kelly, welcome to the Portsmouth Comic Con podcast. It's back. This is episode 1, and I'm honored to be speaking with you today.
Oh, it's amazing to be back here, actually. I can't think, how long's it been? 5-month gap since the last one?
It's flown by, but I'm excited
has.
that it's gone so quickly, and we're already getting excited for next year's event. So yes, we're going to
Definitely.
talk a little bit today about the event, what it means to you. We won't give away too many secrets for last year. We've had a couple of meetings that are very exciting. But yes, tell the listeners and the watchers over on YouTube how you work behind the scenes for Portsmouth Comic Con.
So my role here is head of marketing. So I oversee the sort of marketing plan and campaign for Comic Con. But I have to say, really, I'm surrounded by an amazing team who do all the hard work behind it. So all the sort of the social side of it, social media, and all the paid ads that run through that. All the graphic design and adverts and everything that you see, that's all done by people around me. So I'm quite lucky and privileged that I get to sit back a little bit and just book the plan in, and then it all happens.
Well, there you go. It takes a village, as they say. And over the years, I've been doing this now since working with you all since 2018. And I would call it a family. The people that are coming back each year and helping out with this event, I've got to know over the years, and some fantastic friendships have bonded. And to see this event grow each year while still hanging on to its wonderful core values, what's it like been for someone that's seen it grow from the beginning to see where it is now? What's that been like for you?
It's amazing, really, when you think back to 2018 and when we first started speaking. Going into that first Comic Con, we were a bit like, are people going to like this? Are people going to come? So we didn't know what was going to happen. So to see where we are now, sort of 9,000 people a year, easily growing each year as well. Just the feedback that we get, and as you say, that family sort of feel that like we've got traders, exhibitors, sort of content partners that we work with year on year. So it's lovely when they get in touch and we're talking about, so what are you going to do next year? What are we announcing? Oh, you've got some new graphics and stuff for us. That's amazing. So it's I think we do challenge ourselves as a team here to keep it fresh, keep it changing. So while we have, as I say, a really lovely sort of stable base of people that we work with, it's also exciting when we're welcoming in all the new things for the year and just trying to work out what differently we can do.
Yeah, and I do love that. I mean, sometimes you can go to an event and it's the same thing each and every year, and that's great. I'm one of those people that doesn't always like too much change. I'm okay in just like dribs and drabs, but not too much all at once. But there is always something each year with Portsmouth Comic Con that is different, or they try something new, and they get experimentative, if that's a word. But they would try something fun and interesting, whether it be with a different car or a different walkthrough experience or a different guest. There's always something there to look forward to, and that's it's great to be able to speak with you all and get a look behind sort of the Wizard of Oz curtain, as it were. But I don't always want to know the surprises. I want to be there on that day one and be excited like everybody else. But it's also nice to see how this machine comes to be, because there is so much hard work that goes behind the scenes. What's been over the years though? You've been there since day one. What's been one of your favorite memories of Portsmouth Comic Con?
Um, every year it's the same. It's when you sit on those steps and you watch the cosplay parade and you see the effort and the time that people have put into making their costumes, or you see how nervous they are before they go on stage and then just go on stage and absolutely come to life. And for me, it's that sort of that sense of the community, and people just having an amazing time. Is that's when you just sort of sit back as being part of this team. As you say, we do work on it all year round, and that's a real moment each year that we sit on the steps and we watch it like everybody else is watching it, and you just think, actually, this is what we've brought together. This is the real achievement, and yeah, that always gets me every year.
And I think that's been there since day one, since, it was when it was announced and there were a few meetings behind the scenes. I got my first Portsmouth press pass. I was like, this is it. This is the year for doing things. And that from day one, it was like, wow, this is something. You could feel that little bit of magic there. And Comic Cons in the UK, they've been around for a certain amount of years, but some people still might not possibly know what a Comic Con is. They just hear that word and think, well, I know I've seen them on TV, I've seen them in the Big Bang Theory. I'm not entirely sure what a Comic Con is. How would you describe a Comic Con to somebody that was thinking of attending?
I mean, I was exactly one of those people when I was called into an office one day and sort of said, next year we're doing a Comic Con. And I was like, okay, what's that? I, I had no idea. So, I mean, we always try to, break it down really to exactly that sort of, whether you've been to Comic Cons and know what they are and love them, to you're just looking for a good day out with your family, never been to anything like it before, have no idea of what to expect. It's that sort of try and break it down for people to give them that sense of understanding what it is, but also, as you say, not revealing too much, still leaving the elements of surprises there on the day.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
sure I've
waiting.
fully answered the question there.
No,
but...
no, you've made me more excited for next year already by little teasers. I've know of some of the things that you're doing next year. We had a meeting recently with you and a few of the other wonderful team, and it's always exciting to know what's coming, but before it's been announced, it's like, oh, I want to see how people react to this news, or what costumes will come from that. And yeah, I'm already excited for next year. It's always a joy working with all of you, because you can tell that the passion you have, not only for this event and the fandoms, but it's the fact that you want the guests to have an amazing experience. And for me, that's what a con should be. My first con was an amazing moment, and it was a year when I was slowly stepping out of comfort zones. And when you do that, you find more things that bring you joy. And that's what I found with Portsmouth Comic Con. There was something around every corner that grabbed my interest, and there were new things I loved. There were old things that I loved. There were wonderful moments of nostalgia around every corner, but also new experiences as well. And that's what I love again about this event. There's something there for everybody. That's what I've always enjoyed learning people's reviews in the past, is that we didn't expect that to be there, or this to be there. It is really an amazing event. But as you said, without giving away too much for next year, what are you excited to see at next year's event on the 3rd and 4th of May?
Well, obviously, it being the 4th of May, I'm not going to say too much, but there will be a focus to a particular
Yes.
franchise that I think we can guess.
Yes, we
And
can.
so more details of that will be coming out.
Wonderful.
I think, as you say, at this stage for us, it's still very much putting the sort of ideas and plans together. And sort of over the summer, after this year's event, sorry, we always say last year's, but we're still in the same year. We've come away, we've sat down and talked about different things and ideas that we've got, and those ideas are now slowly starting to
Yes.
sort of take shape. And so I'm excited to see where they get to. So, and even quite often when we're announcing stuff in the autumn, that planning still goes on right through to May. So even the event that we're announcing now can suddenly look quite different by the time you get there in May. So all I can say is there's a lot of planning going on at the moment. There's a lot of contacting different people and things.
Oh, you're doing very well with not disclosing any information at all. You've had your media training. I appreciate that. That saves me doing any editing after this perfect interview. But that's what I love about the fact that you all get so involved. You are excited about just how smoothly it runs, whether it be the months leading up to it and the weekends and even the events after this con. it's great to see. I've worked with different cons over the years, and with me being from Portsmouth, this event for me is like, yeah, this is we will put Comic Cons on the map for all the right reasons, and so far over the last few years, you have continued to do that with the whole gang. So, thank you from me to you, and thank you for your time today. I'm sure we're going to be speaking a lot over the upcoming months, but yes, thank you for your time today, my loves. But again, we've talked about what you're excited about. We're in October now. This event, well, this first podcast will be coming out quite soon. Hit me up finally with your favorite Halloween movie.
Ah, Luke.
I know.
I don't know. I knew you were going to put me on the spot with something. Well, actually, what I'll say, so what we're very excited about at the moment, actually, is we've just announced some fringe activity for, I think it's just before or around the time that this podcast will come out.
I think so.
And the films that we're going for there are Hocus Pocus and A Nightmare on Elm Street. So I've probably got to say one of those, haven't I? Because that's
Well,
why we've picked them.
they're both fantastic movies, and they're great different target audiences. Much like the con, you're appealing to many different fan bases, and I love that. Yes, the social events are beginning to happen, which is what I love about this event as well. Is that it's not just about the Comic Con. Weeks and months before this event is even here, you're still finding ways to bring communities together, and you've got these spooky cinema events, and I think you can still find tickets for that at portsmouthcomiccon.com, and that will be happening. Yeah, I think pretty much as soon as this episode goes live, that will be happening. But that'll be a very fun day spent with some scary movies. So yeah, if you bring the popcorn, Kelly, I will be there for that. No scary cosplays for me for that day, but yeah, two good movie picks. Lovely. Thank you for your time today, and I can't wait to speak with you more soon, Kelly.
Thank you.
John from Express FM, welcome to the Portsmouth Comic Con podcast.
Hello, sir. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I mean, you're one of the faces and voices from Express FM that help Portsmouth Comic Con throughout the whole weekend, the months running up and the months afterwards. It's a fantastic collaboration of creative, positive people. It's always fun speaking with Express FM and coming down to the studio and speaking there as well. But you're there at the con for 2 days, working so hard, hosting panels, being a part of Speaker's Corner. And it's just another cog in this huge machine that makes this event such a huge success. What's it like been for you seeing this event evolve over the years?
I would say it's best described as an incredible privilege, because to watch what they've done there, especially Kurt, Nick, and Kelly, and all the gang, Georgia, like everybody is so passionate about this. This is not something that's run by people that want to make a quick buck. This is run by people who are passionate about it, who care about what they're doing, not just this event, but every event they put on. And they, they're into it as much as we are. They care about it.
Yeah.
And they want it to grow. And I think it's grown quite organically, wouldn't you agree? And that each year we see more and more people.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen the numbers go up since 2018. I've seen that queue getting bigger and bigger each year. But even that point, we've mentioned that in the past, that even the people that are hanging about in a queue, they're being entertained by cosplayers and people going into the event. But organically, yeah, as I think it's getting fantastic word of mouth now. I think in 2018, possibly a lot of Portsmouth wouldn't even know what a Comic-Con was. Essentially, they would have had a rough idea, maybe a stereotypical idea of what a Comic-Con could be. And over the years, through the power that is social media, we've seen people share their memories, share days out, seen it in the press of what a Comic-Con could be like. And Portsmouth is one of my favorite weekends of the year. So much work goes into it, and as you said, there's so many people behind the scenes that make that run smoothly. Whenever I see you at the event, you're either running around with a Walkman or a walkie-talkie, or you've got a phone in your ear or a microphone in your hand. Something's going on. We managed to catch up a few times each year, but it's such hustle and bustle. It's excitement.
We also have that little perch, don't we? Right by Speaker's Corner, there's that couple of seats at the front of that set of kind of back stalls there. We We have that moment. I love that moment. It's kind of almost a regular thing now every year where we just sit next to each other and go,
Yeah, let's breathe out
right,
for a minute. Let's
you
just
good? Yeah,
let's just
how's it
check in.
going?
Make sure we're eating and drinking and having fun, and we're ticking all the
Oh,
boxes.
dude, you were like everybody's uncle. Like I remember this. Like you come around and you're like checking my have you eaten? Have you had enough water? Like
It's
I
important
love that
things. It's
about
important
you,
things
man.
that
I
you
love
tend.
that.
I
Yeah.
always forget when I get into the like whether it be the recording or the editing zone of what I'm doing. I'll forget
Yeah.
to eat. I'll forget to drink. So I'll make sure that I've got visual reminders all around me to drink more or eat more or just take 5 minutes. And as you said, that little perch. There's lots of places around Portsmouth Comic Con where you can take a chill and take a
Mm,
step back when it gets sometimes a bit overwhelming to those that are prone to it. But yeah,
mm,
I like to make sure that everyone's well looked after. And yeah,
mm.
you're a busy man at Portsmouth Comic Con. So what is it that you do over that whole weekend? Explain your role of Portsmouth Comic Con, sir.
So I think the best way to describe it would be we are honored and privileged really to be tasked with the caretaking of the Speaker's Corner stage, which of course was an idea that we came up with collaboratively with the guys, with Nick, with Kurt, with Kelly, Georgia and co. They very kindly invited us to be more involved than we were. Obviously, we were coming over originally doing outside broadcasts from there, broadcasting live from there across the whole weekend. That coverage has now got bigger and bigger with each year. I think last year we broadcast for something like 10 or 12 hours across the
Yeah.
weekend, which was fantastic. And so we basically here we did it in kind of two sections. The on air, which is everything that goes on, like when you come and visit us to talk about it and so on and so forth. We have comic artists and cosplayers and a menagerie of really talented folks who come on the radio before the event, come hang out with us, talk to us in the studio, social media, website, all the stuff you're doing as well, of course, with this podcast, which is amazing. And then there's what we call the on-site, and the on-site is very much um, Speaker's Corner, what Speaker's Corner is about, really, and we are very privileged to be able to be the caretakers of that stage, and I oversee that area, and essentially it's my job to build a really good team of Express FM presenters, and their role is to be panel hosts across the Saturday and the Sunday and interview all the amazing guests that come through there. Again, of course, programmed in coalition with Kurt and Nick about who's going to be on that stage, what time, where, and have some really interesting chats with some really interesting people, but also provide that area that you just mentioned where people can just come,
Yeah.
chill out, and enjoy some talks. So
And I think
yeah.
that's what happens though. Sort of, if you wanted just a sit down for 5 minutes, you can sit down in many places, but
Mhm.
there's something going on around you that you can either choose to involve yourself in or just sit down and enjoy something different that maybe you didn't know that was happening. Because there
Yeah,
were some
exactly.
fantastic panels there. And for you, it was, and the rest of the gang, it was you were running podcasts for pretty much the whole 2 day event. It was like a live
Mhm.
classic children in need telethon. You didn't stop. It was non-stop.
Yeah.
And you did a fantastic job of keeping
Thank
that
you.
fresh and entertaining. And in again, like with everything of the con, it's inclusive. Everyone can
Mm.
come and join in, find something new, talk about something they love, and what Comic Cons are all about. It's that passion for something that lights that fire inside you. And you
Mm.
do a great job of helping ignite that flame because
Thank you.
we had another little chat last year where we just talked about the stuff that we love. We again,
Mm.
which happened before we hit record on this interview. And that's why in the future we will be doing more podcasts. There will be a
Yes,
podcast on
we
my
will.
show, your show, and the Comic Con podcast
Yes.
as well, because we do like to talk, don't we, John?
We do, and I think definitely when 2025, obviously building up to Comic Con, which is a huge thing that's important to us
Yes.
both, but also another thing happening in 2025 that's very important to both of us, of course, is James Gunn's Superman. I'm sure we'll collaborate on that. Well, I hope
This
so,
don't
anyway.
don't I'm going to pinch myself here to stop myself from talking about it because yes, I've got a lot to say on that subject, and we will talk about that in the future. And who knows,
We will.
maybe there will be some Superman panels at next year's Comic Con. We
But
can
wouldn't
live.
that be lovely?
We can live and
Yeah.
hope. We might have to twist Nick and Kurt's here a little bit and see what we can make sure happening on that. But yeah, you do a great job at the con. It's always fun to sit down and talk with you and watch you interact with not only the guests but also the people that come there to enjoy that weekend. So thank you for all your work that you do with Express FM and Portsmouth Comic Con. Before we go, what's one of your favorite memories from Portsmouth Comic Con over the years, John?
that's like asking me to choose my favorite child. Like, there's so many good ones. There's every aspect of that event is just incredible. And again, I always go back to saying about passion, like how it's run with passion by people who are passionate, yourself included, Kurt, Nick, everybody, like, right, anyone, traders, cosplayers. So I think it's hard to pick one moment because there's so much love in every aspect of it. If I could choose a personal favorite moment, I think definitely a big highlight for me, aside from being surrounded by an incredible team at all times, both within Express and at the Guildhall. And again, I'll include you in that, mate, because you're such a passionate advocate for this. And yeah, but I think a personal highlight for me was we were very lucky in that we got to have our first big composer interview. And for me, it was a personal moment because anyone that knows, I do a show with composers on Express FM called the Composer Series, but that was the first time I'd ever done a composer interview live, face to face on a stage with anyone. So it was a big life moment for me, and Comic Con made that happen. And I'll always be grateful to them for that. But of course, we have Richard Jakes down to talk all about Guardians of the Galaxy, which he'd scored. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight for me. Can we top that in the near future? Well, watch this space, I think.
Oh, again, everybody that I've spoken to on this show, including Nick and Kurt, they've left these little sprinkles of a
Yeah,
tease
for
that's
sure.
just enough. And I've mentioned as well the fact that each time I have an interview or talk about this event, I get more excited. And I forget, I do sometimes, I'm lucky enough to get a peek behind the scenes about what happens. But I'm trying to say, don't reveal too much. I want some surprises when I'm there at the weekend. Yes, I'm there to report, but also I'm there as a fan of Comic Cons as well. I get the perfect balance of not only working with these wonderful people like yourself, but also enjoying it as a consumer of this world that I've fallen in love with. So yeah, some fantastic.
But you're our Superman, dude. As I said to you on the panel, you're our Clark Kent. You're our Rover.
See, I think out of the two, I'd prefer the Clark Kent. Clark Kent's always been my favorite. Plus, these glasses are not for show. If I take these off, I don't get superpowers. I just walk into a lot more things. But Clark Kent's always been the reporter behind it. And through my love of Superman, that did evolve into jumping out of comfort zones and doing more things like this, interviewing people and going to more events. And that evolved from Comic Cons and finding my confidence and finding more things to love and enjoy. And that's why I feel this Comic Con is the perfect one for people that are considering going to one for the first time, because you get a fantastic look at what a con can be. And that's why I think why we love this con so much, because it is so, as you said, it's filled with love. It's organic. It's a great community event that needs to happen for years to come.
I completely agree.
It's a special occasion.
More and more, the more we can do this, I do this more than once a year. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, if we could do it maybe monthly, just because of my funds, I'm going to be.
Or I think we're going to think about the Guildhall in this. Would they do it? They probably would. I mean,
we could find a way, but yeah, I mean, that's
worry about money. We don't need that.
That's it. That's with this con. I mean, I always try and find the last 2 hours of the weekend. That's my time to go around and treat myself to a few items.
Right. It's always that you'd have to next time come and grab, because there's always that moment around like 4 o'clock, isn't there, on the Sunday? Where I'm like, right, dude, we're gonna go shopping because like we haven't had no time.
That's it. Sometimes again, there's so many fantastic vendors there that I'd be like, look, I'm going to be coming back tomorrow. Please put that to the side of me. And there was one particular stall that is there every year, and they have quite a lot of niche Superman items. And on the Saturday, I said, look, I'm coming back tomorrow. Can I have this, 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 and that? And they were like, yes. Also, we're going to go home now and go through our storage and find some more Superman stuff for you, because we know you're going to buy it. I said, well, that's good customer service, and I will be back.
We know he
will be back. But yeah, it's a fantastic weekend. I'm always excited for it. I'm always excited to see you there as well, John. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for all the work that you do and Express FM with this fantastic collaboration, because it's people like this from the community that make it more special. And I hope to see more of you in the future.
You too, mate. All the best. Thank you.
Take care. And there we go. That was episode 1. And there are many more episodes to come. Speaking with all these wonderful people, it's it's made me even more excited for future episodes and for the 3rd and 4th of May next year when this event will be back. It's one of my favourite weekends of the year, and helping produce this podcast, it makes it more fun. I get to feel a closer connection with this event that means so much to me. So thank you for listening. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all those good things. And if you haven't got your tickets already, you can get those at portsmouthcomiccon.com. All those links are down below. I have been your host, Luke Bugg, the Geek of Steel, and I'm looking forward to more and more episodes of the Portsmouth Comic Con podcast.